I'm here with Jay Voorhees, pastor of Antioch United Methodist Church. I came to see what was happening here in the immediate aftermath of the flooding in Nashville on Saturday and Sunday, May 1st and 2nd. I found out about this church's efforts through the Twitter updates Jay posted on Saturday and Sunday announcing their presence as responders in this time of need and recovery. When I saw Jay's Twitter post about Mill Creek flooding onto I-24, I turned on the TV and saw the cars half submerged and the water still rising. Although we in Nashville knew that this was to be an intense rain event, we did not know that this was to be something that we had not seen in at least 30 years, if not more. The I-24 picture seemed to be the thing that woke us all up to the fact that this was more serious than thunderstorm warnings. To tell us about what your last couple of days have been like.
We came over on Saturday. My daughter and I actually came over knowing that the rain was bad, but not knowing that it was that bad. And we were actually just coming over to do some work at the church, and we're here and saw things getting worse. Where Mill Creek was up, and we knew it was up, and there was going to be some flooding, but again, had no clue of what it was going to be. And within 30 minutes, there was a building from the local, from a neighbor church down the street that was floating down the interstate, which showed up on all the news stations. And so as that kept getting worse and worse, we knew we were going to have a major problem over here. And so we opened up our church just temporarily as a temporary shelter. There's a road down the hill from us that started to flood, and families started to flood out. And so we had several families from there come up and dry off. We lost power pretty early. And so we got them dried off and kind of put back together a little bit, and then sent them to the Red Cross shelter from there. And then once it became clear that this was kind of a once in 500-year event, we just jumped in to do whatever we could do, and to just try to help out our neighbors along the way.
So tell us about some of the things you've been doing here from the church.
Well, part of what we're doing is we've done some assessment in the neighborhoods, walking the streets of the neighborhoods to see where specific needs are, and to try to just help families know that we're available. We learned, you send those folks up. I got building space, okay? Okay, cool, thanks, take care, bye-bye. That's the reality of this thing, is we're kind of making it up as we go along. So it really is a sense of making it up as we go along and trying to find out the needs. And of course, that's you know, some of the disaster agencies are doing their thing, and they're getting started there. But the scope of this is so big in Nashville that I think even the normal disaster agencies, Red Cross, you know, United Methodist Committee on Relief, those kinds of organizations are almost overwhelmed by what we're having to do here. And so so there is a certain degree where kind of communities are having to come together and try to figure out how we're responding to it. Not in a bad way. I mean, we're still working with those other organizations, but just to make sure that we're not kind of duplicating efforts along the way. So I started off kind of doing assessment in the community, checking out homes, handing out business cards to folks, you know, saying we're here. While we were in the midst of handing out flood buckets, we had gotten about 30 flood buckets in from UMCOR. We took them, one of our members said, you know, we need to start collecting supplies up here, just basic cleaning supplies, and having a centralized repository. So we put out the word there, and so folks started bringing stuff. We've got a water issue here in Nashville as well, so we are collecting bottled water. And then and bleach and cleaning supplies, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, yesterday afternoon we had the fire department working with us, and we were like, well, we need to feed them. Well, why don't we cook dinner for emergency workers and just put the word out? And if they come, they come, and if they don't come, that's fine. But that we're gonna go ahead and have food available for the folks in need in the community. And so then we started spreading word on that. You know, do we have thousands of people knocking at the door? No, and that's not the point. The point is that we're here, and we're going to offer whatever help folks need along the way. And so so then that sort of expands out with a meeting with the local council person who says, you know, we need to coordinate all the churches working together. So we set up this meeting for tonight, and then try to come up with a centralized way of working. So that's the way we've worked here. Antioch has been a unique community as a neighborhood because we've had a really good kind of interdenominational, interfaith group that has worked well together on other events. And so we have the infrastructure in place to go ahead and be able to develop relationships and do some good work there. It hasn't gotten a lot of national attention, and that's okay. It is what it is. But the devastation's bad. I mean, this is for us you know, if not, some folks are calling it a 1,000-year flood, certainly a 100-year flood. But it's important for this congregation. We're in this weird place. We're on the top of a hill, and there are some days when that drives me crazy because it's not always the best location. But the reason we're on the top of the hill was back in '79, the last time they had a flood of this magnitude in this neighborhood, our church was pretty well destroyed. And so they determined after having gone through 3 or 4 floods, that they were going to find the highest piece of property they could find. And they did, and they built it up here. But what that's done is that gives us a gift at this point, because we were on high ground, and so we were accessible, we're available, you know, we didn't have any damage. We've got this beautiful building, a huge facility that we can really use in a lot of different ways. And so our philosophy at this church has always been God gave us this building to bless the community with. And so we open it up to the community on a regular basis. You know, like any church, sometimes we get protective of it, but most of the time we're really open with it. And so this is an opportunity for us to really reach out. And folks want to help. And so part of it is just how do you harness that energy so that they have ways that they can help. And that's what we're doing.
I saw the UMC.org site this morning, and my friend Kelsey had gone out to lunch yesterday and gone downtown, and he's got this fancy Canon, I think it's a Canon or Nikon camera with video, but he used a wide-angle lens and took this big panoramic shot. And so I was thinking, you know, and then I saw your tweets about the cleaning supplies, and I said, maybe that panorama needs to be a little bit wider. Yeah. and so get out into some of the areas that you know, like downtown, or, you know, we're pretty. I
mean, that's the hard part, and that's what's a little bit more difficult. As I was saying on that phone call, a little bit more difficult here, out in our area. No, it's you know, this in a lot of ways has just been a make up as we go along, and you know, somebody calls and we have this need, and well, we need to kind of invent this, and you know, again, other organizations that have been through these kinds of events know how to do this, and they have some of those places, and we can piggyback on that. But we're still trying to kind of put things in place here, and I think we're calling all of the community leaders tonight together for a meeting to just coordinate. But you know, through Twitter and cell phones, it's been really pretty amazing how well we've been able to do, and Twitter on this thing, I mean, I've been a Twitter fan, but this really kind of put me over the top.
Yeah.
Did
you see Nashville had an article about
Yeah, well,
Twitter and YouTube and Nashville?
Well, you know, the thing I realized today is that, you know, back in the old days of disasters, you would have these ham radio operators that were, you know, sort of coordinating communications and saying, oh, this is what's happening there and all of that. And so they were kind of doing this emergency disaster work. And Twitter really has taken on that. So, you know, you take like Mike Bird, who's been over in the Salem Town neighborhood, who's just been, you know, posting updates and stuff all along the way, or Christine, I think it's Madela, the Channel 2's anchor for the local, is a huge tweeter. Yeah. And so she, Twitter user, and so, you know, in between being on the air, she's putting out tweets about, we just heard from such and such and so-and-so, and then, you know, for me to be able to just kind of send out a tweet and say, hey, this is what I need, can anybody meet it? And it's been really pretty amazing to see how that's worked. So we've, you know, I've got my tweet deck here, I kind of leave up all the time, and you know, I think the thing that folks don't realize about Twitter is they think they have to like read every tweet that comes in, and it's, I don't even try that, but it's just
you can filter it and
kind of filter it
and
just kind of keep up with things, and you know, I'll go through every now and then and scan and see if I missed anything. So anyway, it's Brittany Gilbert from San Francisco is coming home soon, so that'll be good. So, anyway, it's been fun.
Well, thank you, Jay.
You're very welcome.
I'm very glad I talked to you.
And eat your lunch.
Oh, did you get